polluted are dispersed in air, and where we have to do the sampling. At what point we have to do the sampling. The deciding of that itself, it is a quite difficult, isn't it? That's what they have given. Some of the 5 or 6 sites has to be decided based on the location. Somewhere the traffic must be more than 10,000 per day, and somewhere the traffic must be the vehicle movements are supposed where vehicle density is more than 10,000 per day, and the site B is the vehicle density or movement of vehicle more than 500 by day, like that. Some residential area, third site, fourth site is rural area, like that. They have categorized 6 type A, type B, type C, type D, E, and F. That classification they made. Then you select the location. Then what we can do? Can we take any bottle or something like to do the water sampling? We cannot do such a things, no. So there is a specialized techniques are developed to do this sampling. When we are doing this air sampling, we have to think of many factors. Where we are doing the sampling, when we are doing the sampling, when we are doing the sampling, what are the meteorological parameters like the temperature, pressure, what is the latitude, and what is the wind velocity and the wind direction also. That's why the people used to say windrose diagram. All these parameters to be mentioned, and what time to what time, and whether it is a continuous sampling or it is periodically interrupted sampling. And while doing the sampling, some interruption will come, like power off or the rain has come, like that. It means how frequently it came when we are doing the sampling. All these factors to be considered. And one more thing, how the air sampling cannot be, suppose water sampling means we will take the sewage water in the morning, mean morning characteristics different from afternoon characteristics. Afternoon characteristics of sewage is different from the evening sewage characteristics. We obviously know, because that is lifestyle of the people in India or everywhere we can say, because we are eating 3 times. We have to cook either 2 times or 3 times. It depends on the family. And whenever we are doing the washing could be there, periodically all the physical activities of human being, how they are consuming the water, that is life's pattern. But in traffic level, we cannot say like this. Because today some function will be there. Then we can understand in that particular area how much the rush could be. Somewhere the rain must be there. Then we can understand. Somewhere that we know that in Hyderabad, is one part of Hyderabad would have been rain, and another part of Hyderabad there will be very hot sunshine. I myself have experienced on the same day. So in such a situation, how we have to write the report, or whatever the sampling we are doing, how is it valid, and how we can make it valid also. That is also a point. Simply, I am taking the sample, I am following some method to analysis, and this is the quantity, who will follow? So based on that, can we decide, yes, Hyderabad, suppose now today I am taking some sample. Today is a little cloudy only. And I am taking some analysis. Can I report that this is the pollutant level of Hyderabad? Any one of you could be answer, please. Can you answer?
No, ma'am.
Why we cannot say?
Because depending upon when we are taking, at that time, what is the condition there?
Yeah. And that also will be varied, like fluctuated like anything, isn't it? So we cannot say. That's what for doing, taking the sample and anal, that's why people not take sample. That collection of sample, air sampling always supposed to say, either you have to say the term sampling, or you have to say collection of sampling. Don't say that taking of sample. But water sample means we can use the term. When we are doing the collection of sample, which will, anywhere you read the air pollution data, if the people are really well versed about the subject, they will write the report very specifically. The gas and the air pollution analysis has been done in particular way, where they have done that particular place on the particular day and time At that time, the temperature and this and all at that, under that condition, the pollution level was this. Like that only they will give. And even then, they won't give the correct exact value. They will give the value. It is ranges between from this to this and this. Or they will write the average value. Or they will write varied from this to this only. 99% of report, if the people are really know the subject, no one can write the exact value of pollutant at particular place. Either they give mean or average, or they give range, or they may give variation. These three way only it's possible. So make use of the 1 day data or 1 data, nothing can be done, nothing could be finalized. But for that, what people are doing, they are doing the study for continuously many days in the sense like 1 week or 10 days or 15 days or 1 month or 6 months or throughout the year also somewhere people have done the study. Before implementing CNG in Delhi, they have done continuously one year study also for some of the pollutant. Criteria pollutant. Criteria pollutant means what? What are the pollutant which is making comes under particulate matter, that is particulate matter, suspended particulate matter, respirable suspended particulate matter, and the carbon monoxide. These are all comes under the criteria pollutant. So when they are doing like this, they will come to know that throughout the year data, every day data they will analyze. After that, throughout the year, how much was the maximum, how much was the minimum, and what could be the average. Then they will compare everything. Finally, they will say that in the entire Hyderabad, the entire Delhi, the variation of this particular pollutant from this to this, which has the mean or average value of this. So the level of this particular pollutant, whether it is exceeded or within the limit, they will report like that only. Based on that only, they can take some decision what could be done to reduce this pollutant. Either we can do some modification or we can replace the source of pollutant. This is the way they have to decide. So what we have done, Rakime, for you only, I'm telling again our entire content of that lesson.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
And so what they have done, there are different types of methods are available for collection of sample. How we can collect the air sample, that is in the gaseous form. Either we have to use some filters. The filter suppose filtrate the particulate matter, and you should leave the gaseous matter from the filter paper after absorbing or filtering, trapping that waste or pollutant. That is one method. Another method it could be, we can use some solvent. In that solvent, whatever the pollutant are there, it's supposed to be dissolved in that solvent. When it dissolves, the nature of the pollutant should not be changed. And the nature of the solvent also should not be changed. Both must be in the same state. There will not be any physical or chemical changes. Like that solvent we have to use. For the first method, filtration method, the people have identified very excellent sampling method that is called stack sampling. Stack air sampling, that is working under vacuum. How the vacuum cleaner is working, similar concept. When the particulate matter is there in the atmosphere, this sample, pre-stack or stack sampling, it is a unit which has the inlet and air movement, collection medium, and then rest of the thing we know that the air is sucked through the vacuum and it is moved into the system. Then it is collected in the collection medium, or that is called filter paper. The filter paper means, don't think that normal filter paper, what you people have used in the laboratory. It is very fine filter paper that must be in micron level pore size, like that filter. Then the air, when it goes through the filter, whatever the particulate matters are there, it is trapped in that, and automatically the air and gases are passed away through the filter paper. That is called a stack air sampler. In that, they are using some physical filter paper. Then you have to take that filter paper to the laboratory and you have to digest with that some acid. You have to digest the entire filter paper with some acid. Then you have to do the further analysis to find out the heavy metals or whatever it may be. But how much particulate matter is being observed, how we have to analyze means, you have to pre-weigh the weight of the filter paper before you feed into the stack air sampler. You know, dry, clean filter paper you have to take. Before you put it in the stack sampler, you have to pre-weigh it. And after collection of sample, again you have to weigh it. The weight difference between the empty and the pollutant loaded paper gives an idea or value of how much particulate matter is being collected over the known surface area of the filter over the known time, period of time. So it could be expressed in terms of microgram of particulate matter per square meter of area per day or per week or per 10 days or whatever it may be the unit sampling time you have done. Like that it could be repeated. So this is the method, one of the method of doing of analysis and quantification, sampling and analysis and quantification of pollutant, particulate matter. And the remaining whatever you have digested, I told you, the digested matter that is in the form of aqueous form, because you have digested with acid, it is in concentrated form. Whatever the required dilution it needs, you have to give the dilution. After giving the dilution, you can follow many methods to find out the pollutant. That atomic absorption spectra is there, spectrophotometry is there, then FTR, Fourier transformation, infrared spectroscopy, chemiluminescence, many analytical GC, gas chromatography with some specific detector, flame ionization detector, and gas chromatography with mass spectra. These are all the methods are available in general. Each and every method is giving different sort of report. For example, if you use spectrophotometry, you can analyze only one of the compound like SO2 concentration. If you use gas chromatography with a flame ionization detector, you can analyze hydrocarbon related pollutant. Volatile organic carbon you can say, or hydrocarbon you can say, all the compound whatever is there that could be analyzed through that method. If you use FTIR, you can analyze Fourier transformation. What we can analyze with that, even IR. Infrared means we can analyze. 1 minute, ma'am. I will tell the exact name of the method. Yeah, this is also useful for find out the same volatile organic carbon, including methane, because that is also a carbon organic matter only, along with the extra compound which analyzes carbon monoxide. And if you follow this chemiluminescence, which gives an idea about the sulfur dioxide and ozone concentration. When you follow this atomic absorption spectrophotometry method, which is the method used for finding out the more than 60 metals and metalloids components. So these are all the analytical method. And I told you that this particulate matter, either particulate matter size of 2.5 or particulate matter size of 10, that people in general commercially they called PM10 and PM2.5. Nowadays everyone is aware of this point, because if you open the TV, whenever you, I don't have a habit of seeing the TV, but I am saying that after seeing the public advertisement, whenever the AC advertisement is there you can find out when they are doing the analysis, which has the filter is filter rate of PM10, PM2.5 also they are telling. Whatever the particulate matters are presented in the air, that will be filtered out before it enter into the AC unit. That's what the concept they want to tell. It is working to some extent. I also have experience. I have seen, I have checked also. But 100% it is not possible. Around 60 to 70% it could be done. Okay. And this particulate matter could be done by gravimetric analysis. Whatever I said, you take the difference in the weight of the filter paper, it could be analyzed. These are all the different methods available for quantifying. Quantification is different, sampling is different. Sampling is you are doing, taking the sample, you are collecting the sample from the air through some technology. Because we cannot simply and go take the sample through syringe or something like that. So we have to collect it. The collected material should be processed. And when we are processing, the nature of the pollutant should not be changed. Then you have to preserve the sample in such a way. Then after that only you have to analyze. When you are doing the analysis, again you according to the instrument what you are going to use and what component you are going to analyze. Based on that, you have to select the correct method. Again, you have to do some of the pre-processing according to the method of analysis. Then you have to quantify the pollutant in terms of microgram of particular pollutant per volume of air, meter cube of air, per time or nothing like that, not required. Okay. And somewhere the gaseous pollutant, when the people are measuring ozone like that and all, they are expressing in terms of volume also. So this much meter cube of ozone per meter cube of air, like that we can give the report. And one more very common type of analysis of particulate matter is very simple and also that is very efficient method. Very simple. Anyone can do that analysis. What you have to do, when we wanted to do the sampling, because the particulate matter which has the size of, people are telling in different places, different units. That in general, particulate matter size is how much? Anyone can answer to me? How many of you are there in the class today? I have not shared the slides. You would have asked me, na? I thought that I am sharing the slides already.
9 people, ma'am.
Okay. All are talking. No one is talking. People, you can interact with me now. Simply join and left, I think so. Okay. They are great people. No one want to go. Okay. Maybe. Okay. One more very common method is that everywhere people are following such a method, but that method is very simple and also it is more efficient method. We can't, so this one is simple, so it won't give the answer or it will not be like this, that we cannot say any comments about that. In general, the particle pollutant are being classified the size of, we have read in many places, 100 millimeter down to 0.1 millimeter. But when we are doing this particulate matter, SPM 10, SPM 2.5, everything when we have considered, the particle size, they are telling that 1 micron size to larger 10 micron size in the atmosphere. So this kind of small particle, how we can do the analysis? Very simple. You take any clean, dry jar, plastic jar, and you kept the jar in the area where you want to do the analysis. And the jar weight you supposed to be pre-weighed it. Then, wherever you want to do the analysis, few hours or few days or few weeks you have kept it, and you should not disturb that jar anywhere in the study area. Then, what you have to do, you have to take some, the jar size should have some standard size. Normal water, plastic water jar you have to take. That bottom diameter supposed to be 10 to 15 centimeter. And it should be open at the top of the jar. And what you have to do, you can take some water also inside. That water will be helpful to trap the dust particle into that, whatever the dust particle coming and falling into the glass. This study will be continuously done for some known period of time, not 1 hour, 2 hours. Many hours or days or weeks or months also. So then what you have to do, you have to collect the sample known period. Whatever the dust falling in that particular opened area of the glass will be collected and trapped in the water. Then you have to take the water, take the glass into the laboratory. Through any filter, you take one known filter paper, Then you have to measure the filter paper, pre-weigh the filter paper weight and filter it off. Only water will goes down, remaining will be settled down at the top of the filter paper. The filtrate you can take. Then you have to weigh it, dry it. After drying, because the filter paper became wet, no? So you have to dry it. After drying, you have to weigh. Then how much particulate matter is being collected or trapped in that water could be estimated. Then the difference in weight of pre-weighed filter paper and the weighed after drying, whatever the weight of the filter paper, which gives an idea about how much particulate matter is being collected over the period of time. And it would be expressed in terms of weight of the dust per unit area per unit time. Because here we have to give the unit, how much area it is being collected. We can use the water also. Because why we are using the water, some wind will come, whatever the deposited particle may fly and it may blown into the air. To avoid that only we are using that water. Without water also we can do the same study. Then whatever the particle enter inside, pre-weighed water bottle, water jar, and after collection, what is the weight and the difference between these two gives an idea about how much particulate dust is being collected. That is being expressed in weight, particular microgram or milligram of that particulate matter per unit time, per unit area could be reported. This is the way people are following this. This method is very easy, but when you are doing the sampling, that 10 to 15 centimeter diameter glass, how much it could be? How it could be? And a plastic jar. We have to use plastic only. Why we have to use plastic? Anyone of you can answer? Why it should be plastic jar?
Because if some heavy particles, if it will hit continuously due to heavy wind, then it may break.
Ma'am, you are thinking extraordinary, ma'am. Really, I'm telling. It is not the normal thinking process. Extremely extraordinary thinking. Okay. Then anything else? Glass cannot be used. You can say because we have to keep it in outside and public movement must be there. Because where we have to do the sampling and analysis, where the pollution is more, there only we have to understand. Sometimes for the comparison, where it is less also we will do. Okay, for the comparison purpose. So glass cannot be used by the movement of public or anything else. It may broken, so we cannot suggest that. But many metals are there. But why they specifically they said a plastic jar that may be 5 rupees, 10 rupees in the market, isn't it? No one is aware of it. Plastic jar means it is something like a plastic. Water steel glass is there, no? The same shape of steel glass in rubber. That's all. Or we can say plastic, not rubber, plastic. Why it should be in plastic? Why it is not in some other metal? Because now steel glasses are available, copper glasses are available, alloy glasses are available.
Because other other elements may react with different type of jars.
Okay. That is also correct. We can say that also. Fine. Anything else?
Due to atmosphere, also with oxidation, also some color changes will be there. So if any particles will be there, then it may react and we will not get the particular.
That is also correct. Okay, now I will come to the point. You people may have an idea of making the pickle, isn't it? Mango pickle, lemon pickle, especially in Telangana and Andhra. People are very fond of very current pickle, isn't it? How they are making, how they are storing the pickle. Leave the glass. Don't say immediately glass bottle. We have seen in mall and supermarket and all only bottle. Don't say that. I also have seen. When they are making the large scale, that is for marketing purpose, they are putting in the glass bottle and they are doing nice advertisement and doing like this. So I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about in a large scale level, even at family or somebody makes, somebody uses a porcelain content, but most of them are using plastic container only for making large quantity. Why they are making in plastic containers? Ma'am, your answer is partially correct.
Ma'am, when it will be done in steel, utensil, all these things, na, then it may react. Mango pickle, those things, it may react with those steel and then taste may change.
Basically, what we are adding in that? We are adding lot of salt in pickle. Okay.
Yes.
That the salt along with the oil, which makes a corrosion, isn't it? In steel container, aluminum container, indelible container, anything you use, even copper container, anything you use, which corrode the substance, corrode the material, then the material will go away. That is the first point. How this corrosion will happen? After the reaction only the corrosion will happen, isn't it? Yes or no? So like that, if they are using any other material for the sample collection, what are the pollutant? What is the nature of pollutant? We are studying right from the first class to till now, which contain lot of sulfur dioxide, isn't it? Lot of oxides of nitrogen. In what we are collecting the sample? We are collecting the sample in water. Sometimes without water also people are collecting, but moisture is there in the air. Because the entire atmospheric mass, if you take, other than carbon dioxide and nitrogen, the water is an important media to transfer the energy in atmosphere. Without water, we won't get the energy in atmosphere. Are you agree that? If
Yes,
energy is transporting from one place to another place, means through the latent heat of evaporation only, the heat is being distributed in the atmosphere along with that greenhouse effect. Okay, for greenhouse effect has to be happen means we must have some of the particle in atmosphere. The atmosphere gas supposed to be absorb the reflected heat radiation from the Earth's surface. That's what that is called the greenhouse effect. Okay, which makes the system as green, which is essential, which provides a good life. Whatever the things are giving good life, that we are naming it as a green. Okay, so that's what that, what is that? Our Prime Minister introduced one Hindi term for cleaning aspect. What is that, ma'am? Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the purpose of that they are using? We wanted to provide the green environment. Green environment in the sense it is not, the environment is not going to look like a green. The clean and which comforts the living being. That's what the meaning of that. So here also why they are using greenhouse effect? That through the greenhouse effect which makes the system is clean and it is comfortable to live for the living being. That is the reason. So here why they are using plastic jar, whatever the pollutant we have discussed till now, if that will be dissolved in the collection medium such a way we are going to collect or such as water, the sulfur, if the sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen presented means which make acid, then that will be react with some other material which makes problematic. That is the fact. For that only they are not using any other metal. They are preferably selected plastic jar. First, glass also can be used. You can argue with me. I said why the glass are not being selected and not suggested. That is the point. Okay. But this is one of the efficient method, low cost method. Only it needs physical attention. Otherwise, what will happen? Anyone will go, they just move it. Then whatever the sample you have collected will be filled out. You cannot do the analysis. Then about each and every analytical method they have given. Atomic absorption spectrometry, how we can do the analysis, spectrophotometry, how it is hemiluminescence, gas chromatography, mass spectrometer, both are combinedly they have explained, and FTR. And the last part is how the biological, everybody is nowadays talking about bioindicator. Anyone could say what is meant by bioindicator? This is very common term. When the people are studying this environmental science, it is essential to know that. I'll give it 2 minutes time. Ma'am, every one of you, you also, whatever I said, you just go through it. Anything specifically you want me to explain, me, tell me the specific thing I will explain for this lesson, because this is very, very important lesson. From that one question, till now has come. I will give you 5 minutes time, or 7 minutes time is just to go through this lesson from your book. Any particular part you want me to explain, me, tell me, I will explain. Along with that, you have to answer to me what is meant by bioindicator. Just to go through it and tell me the details where you want me to. If you okay means we can jump into the next lesson. Do you have any doubt? You want me to explain anywhere here and there again? Or we'll go ahead? Right? I'm talking with you people only. No one is there.
It's fine, ma'am.
You tell me what is meant by bioindicator. Are you aware of that term? Now,
Pardon, ma'am?
what is meant by bioindicator?
Presence of algae
Ah.
in any sample.
Presence of
Presence
what?
of any organism.
Any organism. Okay.
Microorganism.
Okay, that is called bioindicator. You know something, but still some more information has to be added. What it could be. Actually, what is the purpose of bioindicator? Why nowadays, if you take some years back, in the end of 20th century, people are concentrating more on this particulate matter, SOx and NOx. And also that time, starting of 21st century, at the end of 20th century, people are concentrating more on the heavy metals also. Then before that, they are concentrating on greenhouse gases, everything, and global warming. Then the effect of global warming already reflected in the entire world, I can say. Globally, it was impacted. Then they were talking about a global warming and greenhouse gases, greenhouse effect like that. And then later on, they had slowly they introduced that these fossil fuels are going to be depleted, so don't use much and conserve it. Don't use much because it's going to be get over, they said. Because they said first these are all the pollution and these are all the pollutant. These pollutant are released from such a sources. So you have to efficiently use means the usage will be reduced, the demand go down. So the burning rate of fossil fuels maybe go down, they said. They said one direction, another direction. Every year they have introduced new cars and new bikes. Even they have new old car also. Nowadays the trend is buy another car in the new model. You have old bike also. Some people are exchanging and some people keep both also. We have seen these are all the lifestyle for particular category of people, not at all level. Then they said even if we are threatening, if we are making that kind of awareness also, people are not turning. People means not the only the public. Everyone, those who are manufacturing, those who are marketing, those who are giving license, everybody is responsible. That is, they are all talking about the environment, but they are doing such a things means it is everything controversy. We are not going to enter in that. I'm telling how the level of growth or changes is happening in environment. Then if we are telling like that, they are not listening. Okay, then if we put that fossil fuels are going to be depleted. So you have to use less fuel. And then they have started introducing some conservation technology, conservation method, efficient use of energy, and many things. One among them is they have introduced, they thought of introduce alternative energy sources also. On that, the people spend money like anything throughout the world, including India. And it has been matured to some level, but they found the way it could not be replaced completely to fossil fuel. It conformed. Then they thought that what could be done, and all the pollutants are coming out. Then they got the story on there is a ozone depletion. Because of that, only all the diseases are coming. Another story has stopped. And during the lockdown period, I myself said that there is no transportation at all. So the ozone layer is blocked. There is no ozone hole at all, they said. Then they said that, okay, the carbon dioxide is only the precursor which causes greenhouse effect and global warming. So we arrest that We cannot control the burning rate, they decided. It is not in our hand also. And they have introduced the concept of afforestation and stopped deforestation. Afforestation is really succeeded in India to some extent. That is true. And I should say that also. And then they have introduced the afforestation concept to store more carbon dioxide. Then they have, now they are promoting, if anybody is working much, ready to work on the carbon sequestration, that means storage of carbon in the soil or any media, that will be promoted. That kind of research only is predominated nowadays. These are all the way it went on. Then they find out whenever the chemical substance are using for agricultural purpose. Listen me very carefully. Whenever people are using chemical substances for agriculture purpose, we know that makes all sort of pollution, which sometimes we can reclaim it, sometimes we cannot reclaim it. That should be replaced by biological material means, or biological substances means, which could be preserved by ecosystem, soil-based ecosystem to some extent, or we know that completely. So what is that agriculture-based chemical things? Fertilizers, pesticide, insecticide, whatever we are using, instead of using chemical substances, that will be substituted with biological-based material. Either it could be algae, fungi, bacteria, whatever it may be, the biological substances. Then it protects the soil quality. So the using of biological substance in agricultural field to protect the mentioned subjective matter, that those are all called bioindicators. Now we got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the bioindicators nowadays, not nowadays, the past, now we are 2024, isn't it? To 2000 onwards, or in 2000 itself, it is fluorescence, still it is going on. It is not, for example, I could say some of the research are being already matured like that, we could say. But in bioindicator concept, it is in developing stage. It is developed to some extent, developing in some extent, but it has to be developed some more things. Okay, that is the way. In your book, they have given what are the biological method to analyze the gaseous pollution. If people can easily understand that, if you can't understand, you can approach me before exam at any time. Okay. Then the next lesson is about that I told you now, source correction methods of air emissions. Actually, where the pollution is coming, from where, what point of processing, because all the pollutant are released from the anthropogenic activities. That is confirmed. When the anthropogenic activities are happening, there are different stages of process. One is we are handling and using or preparing the raw material, and we make use of that raw material. We are doing some operation. And when we are doing that operation in the sense, we may do combustion, we may do gasification, or we may do pyrolysis. Different ways are there to use the fuels. And when we are doing that operation, we are getting some sort of form of energy that will be used for power generation, electrical power generation, or mechanical power generation, or thermal power generation, whatever it may be, depends on the requirement. So when we are considering each and every stage, the raw material processing and operation of your use of fuel in operation, these two are the major steps to release the pollutant. So we'll make some changes in these two changes, which will be helpful to reduce the emission at the source itself. So the first point they have considered what are the possible way we can follow, we can introduce, or we can develop to reduce the emissions. Then people have desired, researchers have desired that if you change some changes in the raw material, that is called raw material changes. If you do some changes efficiently in operation, that is called operational changes. Or you do some modification in the existing system, or replace the process equipment from one form to another form. And then finally, effectively, if you operate the existing system, if you follow these 4 methods, the considerable reduction of pollutant emission will be achieved. That was the concept. So these are all things now you can understand. Raw material change, I said we can reduce the sulfur content to some extent. We can stop or we can reduce the formation of NOx to some extent. And the operational changes means, operation means what here? 99% people are using combustion only. Very rarely people are using gasification process for the power generation. And when they are doing like this, what kind of operationability to be considered means, inside the unit, if some of the pollutant is formed, that pollutant can be converted into some other form by introducing some other material that will not interrupt or change or should not disturb the process. That was the class process they asked. Sulfur dioxide is forming whenever you are burning the fossil fuels. Sulfur dioxide must come. Either it is coal or gas or liquid, whatever it is, coal or petroleum or natural gas, whatever it may be, it must come. For that, what they found, hydrogen sulfide also formed from there. When the particular proportion of say SO2 and hydrogen sulfide present in that flue gas, which is helpful to form the water vapor and which gives sulfur element. Then the water vapor will be converted into steam that will become comfortable or helpful for the further increase of energy content of process. And the sulfur could be removed by density difference, whatever it could be. For that, different processes are there. How we can collect the material or trap the material or capture the material from the flue gases. We have to reduce the temperature of flue gases. When we are reducing the temperature, automatically pressure will reduce. Then volume proportionally, then the density changes will come. Then high dense particle will be falling down. Low dense gaseous molecule will be exhausted from the unit or through the chimney. So like that, when they are doing, then the sulfur can be extracted, it could be recovered, and it can be used for any industry. And modification or replacement of process equipment means, earlier days the people are using normal boiler, that is in packed bed. Packed bed mein batch reactors are there and continuous reactors are there. Continuous means the unit will be running 24 hours continuously, that not only one day, throughout the year, 365 into 24 that will run. So periodically they have to adjust the flow rate into the unit, and they have flow rate and air supply and extraction, power generation, flue gases management. In between any unwanted things will come. Everything is supposed to be managed. No, it is not that much easy. When it happens like this, there must be a dead spot sometime. Unburned material can be left over like in the form of soot particle, and along with the ash also sometimes it's possible to carry over this unwanted, unburned fuel particles. So to avoid all those things, people have introduced fluidized bed reactor. Fluidized bed reactor means they are feeding the material from the top of the reactor. Reactor means it is a kind of cylindrical, very big, even we can say one building size, one house size type of cylindrical container. That cylindrical container top will be open or side will be open for the feeding, and one side, and another side of the cylindrical, the gas will be exhaust. From the bottom the air will go, so the coal will be falling from the top and the air will be going from the bottom. The counter current direction the flow was occurring, then the fuel burning is taking place. This is the concept. And the gases, whatever the flue gases exhausted at very high temperature, that passes through the heat exchanger. We have to extract the heat for the steam generation. That steam could be used for the power generation, and the remaining flue gases will be exhausted after cooling. For that, people are using somewhere heat exchangers, somewhere people are using cooling towers, spray towers. Many techniques are available for that. This fluidized bed reactor, what will happen? The solid particles of fuels, coal particle will behave like a fluid, like, because when we are feeding into the reactor, it is not falling on the top. When the air is coming from the bottom, it makes that particle should not be sitting at the bottom, which pulls away, then the particle which moves up and down like a liquid, fluid. That's what the bed is called, fluidized bed. When it is moving up and down, when the enough heat is coming, all the particles could be burned out without leaving any unburned particle. This is efficient method. And also it is one of the succeeded technology or engineering throughout the world. In such a way, when they are doing, they are getting more efficiency of the boiler, and they get good output. So such a modification, when the people are doing the existing equipment to something else, then which reduce the loss of unburned material, that is in the form of hydrocarbon. Soot particle will be reduced, particulates could be reduced, and the energy efficiency is more, means that you are getting, instead of 60%, 70% efficiency, if we get 80 or 90%, the rate of burning of, or the quantity of burning of fuel must be reduced to some extent, obviously or consequently, which will be reflected in the emission rate also. That was the concept. And that is called the modification of replacement of fuel. Then effective operation of existing equipment, this will be carried over in different way. Use of alternative fuel, when the sulfur content is more, you can use a less sulfur content, or some other ore-based material. Wherever we can use the concept that could reduce the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen content in the fuel, that could be followed. And sulfur removal process, combustion modification. Combustion modification means there are 4 different methods could be observed: low excess air operation, off stoichiometric combustion, flue gas recirculation, natural gas reburning. All these methods will be, from the term itself we can understand. Flue gas recirculation I will explain. Remaining you can, because about excess air I have told you. When you are passing, instead of 25% excess air, if you pass only 10% excess air, then obviously it will be reflected on the volume of flue gases. Off stoichiometric means, if you are feeding the off stoichiometric condition, which makes the system boost, that means burner cutoff services must be there, and which makes NO burners or overfire air, where we have to preheat it and we send it, means then which preheat already means we are giving enough heat. Then the hot air system will be used inside for burning of fuel, which reduces the air consumption to some extent. Only the oxygen could be used properly. Whatever the excess volume of nitrogen could be reduced to some extent. Flue gas recirculate, this is very good concept. We know that whatever the flue gases are exhausted from any power plant or industrial process, that will be exhausted at very high temperature only. Somewhere it could be 600 or 800, 1000 also it is possible. Before cooling. After cooling, it should be reduced half of it. More than that, it is not possible, because which requires lot of water. Then again the energy requirement is more, or energy demand is more. More than that, it is difficult to maintain. So what they are doing, that flue gases, whatever exerted, that is collected and resent back to the boiler to burn the material efficiently. That is possible. So when you are introducing the flue gas instead of atmospheric air temperature, then that will be enriching the process at a very high rate. The one point is the process will be faster. Second point is, whatever the composition are going to make when in the already oxidized form of gases react with unoxidized form, it gives the reduction reaction. When the reduction reaction gives, means many times it is possible to make the elemental form of pollutant. Then it could be easily recovered from the flue gases due to the density difference. Then in many more ways, because 30 degree centigrade air, instead of sending air, instead of you are sending the gas at 600, 700 degree centigrade, obviously, which enhance the efficiency of the unit, isn't it? So that flue gas recirculation is very, very important concept. Then it reduces the peak flame temperature, thereby suppressing the NOx formation. This approach but requires a separate recirculation fan and the system. This is only the matter. Rest of the things are tractor. Then fuel reburning, unwanted things again is left over that will be collected and burn it, and you can reuse this. These are all the terms you can easily understand. Then how to reduce the nitrogen content by following the SCR and SNCR technique. That is selective catalytic reaction and selective non-catalytic reaction. Both will be helpful to reduce the NOx consumption. So whatever I said now till now, from that, minimum 2-3 questions will come. Okay. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, when the classes will be over?
After 15 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, then let us start the particulate control technologies. Actually, the next lesson is very, very important. From that, compulsory one question will come. Either, you please note it down, either they may ask what is the scrubber or centrifugal scrubber or packed batch scrubber, that is on the page 147 probably. Many times they ask separately what is Venturi scrubbers. That I will explain, don't worry. Then very rarely people have asked, 2-3 times they have asked what is electrostatic precipitator. And a few times they have asked cyclone separator and gravitation settling center. So any one will come, which will come we cannot. But unknowingly when they are seeing the syllabus, suddenly people write Venturi scrubber in the big question. Venturi scrubber, it is a very small part of content to write. So you should know for we have to use the Venturi scrubber. Then how it is working, what we can be done with that, in detail you have to write. Okay, we'll start something, then we will go ahead. But I didn't share the slide of this way, no? Particulate control technology. Control of particle, but specific air. 1 minute, let me share some other slide. So particulate control technology means what? Now previous lesson we have studied how we can control the pollutant before it forms. Isn't it? How we can control before it forms we study. But in this lesson, once the particulate matter is formed, it means how we can control it, how we can remove it. That is the correct term. How we can remove it. So there are different technologies are available. Those are all energy efficient technology, which requires huge amount of energy. And the operation and maintenance of those technology really requires some skill. That is true. So why we have to do this? We know that control of particulate air pollution involves, we know that controlling means it is playing in the air. Particulate matters are, it is something like a suspended particle. These suspended particles are in suspension in air. When the air moves, along with that, this particulate matter also moves. If the air is not moving, that is it stagnant sometime or stable, then the particles will be settled down on some of the material, either building or car or plants or whatever it may be. That is the concept. But if you wanted to control this particulate matter after formation, means what can be done? I told you it is suspension in air. How it could be controlled? Is it possible? Is it possible? Little fast will go. I'll give an idea. Yes means no means okay. It is not possible means it is not. It is possible. Where it can possible? You have to collect the material which contain the suspended particulate matter. Then we have to pass that gas stream in a very big chamber. And you have to reduce the speed of the gas stream inside the chamber. Then automatically due to the density difference, the particulate matter will be settled down. The gas stream will be just left out. Okay, this is only the concept we can do. Until or otherwise, nothing can be done on it. So here also the people are collecting the gas stream. They are passing through the very big chamber. Big chamber means one building height it could be. when we the gas stream passes through the big chamber. Inside the big chamber, you have to reduce the velocity of the gas stream, slow down the speed. When the gas is moving very slowly inside the very big chamber, then due to the difference between the gas and the particulate matter, obviously particulate matter density must be more than the gas stream, then those particles will be settled down at the bottom. This is the concept generally people are using. For that, they are using cyclone separator, they are using electrostatic precipitator, somewhere gravitational separator. By how the unit is working, make use of what concept it is working, based on that they named it. By gravitational force, it's working means that is called gravitational separator or precipitator. By cyclone process, cyclone means they are creating some circle movement of this gas system inside the unit. Then due to the density difference, solid particles are settled down. That is called cyclone separator. By applying some electrical potential inside the gas stream, then due to the charge difference, the particles are captured. That is called electrostatic precipitator. Among these three, one may come. Okay. So these are all the units generally used for removing this particulate matter from the gas stream. But how we can select the unit? On what basis we can select the unit? Actually, the method of removal of particulate matter, it is mainly depending on many factors. That includes nature of the plant operation. Either it is nature of the plant or power plant operation. And the second, whether it is cyclic process or it is continuous process. Cyclic or continuous, both are we can say same. Whether the emission is likely to vary at a different time of the day or a different day of the week, or like that any seasonal variation, something else is there or not. Based on that, the equipment is supposed to be selected. And after the selection of the specific control system, specific method or control system for particulate matter, which is depending upon the how. Suppose now we are doing the cleaning of flue gases, isn't it? For cleaning up industrial effluent gases, which depends upon the nature of effluent gases discharge. Nature of effluent gases discharge means sometimes it may contain heavy metals, sometimes it contain toxic substances, sometimes it contains some liquid droplets, sometimes it may not contain liquid, sometimes it contain liquid, solid particles. It may be heavy or less dense particle, high temperature, high pressure, whatever it may be. So the nature also, it is corrosive or non-corrosive. All those factors we have to consider. That is called the nature of effluent gases discharge. Then extent of purification required, because when we wanted to recycle the flue gases for preheating, recirculation of the flue gases, I said no, like that concept means we have to remove the tarry substances or toxic substances. Those things we have to, hazardous substances, anything that we have to remove. Otherwise, nothing is there means, and simply you have to remove the solid and liquid particle. That is based on the requirement. That's what the people have, the extent of purification required, whether it is required for any process or simply we have to exhaust into the atmosphere. And gaseous discharge characteristics, physical and chemical characteristics of these discharges, which are all affect the performance of the purification system, you should be considered. And one more thing, all these units are working based on the electrostatic and van der Waals forces. These are all the forces generally people are using for to collect this kind of particles in big industry like the cement industry, thermal power plant. In the world, the very big industry which makes lot of dust, which contribute lot of the dust particle into the atmosphere. Can I say what is the example of it? And this particle sizes already we have seen 100 mm to 0.1 millimeter size. Can you say which industry which contributes lot of dust to the environment?
Power plant, madam.
Power plant also. Then the toppest one.
Yes, ma'am.
Which one is the toppest one?
Cement
Brick
industry.
Cement industry. Cement industry. Which one, ma'am? You also said cement industry or some.
Brick.
I cannot hear your voice properly. Hello?
Brick, ma'am. Brick manufacturing.
Brick won't give much dust, ma'am, because they are mixing with water, no? If it flies also, it will be controlled. Cement industry only makes. And in many of this, wherever the cement industry is are there, within particular radius of distance, you look at that the vegetation and there's okay, public lifestyle, everything must be different. If they're running more than 50 years, 100 years of period time, then the entire area will be affected by dust pollution only most of. And they are following many control technology, whatever I have mentioned, those technologies people are adapted to control it. Even then, each and every stages of process are emitting different sizes of particulate matter into the atmosphere. We have studies 100 mm to 0.1 mm, no? So that effect is reflected over there. So the one of the power plant is also making, no doubt at all, what they are using. And they are taking the coal through the mining, drilling and
Yes, sir.
mining, then burning everywhere, all the stages there also the dust particles are emitted. But when they are comparing the intensity of emission of dust particle, when we consider per kg of per ton processing of cement, per ton processing of coal, when we compare these two, cement is in first place, second place, and or almost in some of the place where the moisture content is less in coal, both are same also. Okay, so for them, for these two industry only, mainly contribute a lot of particulate matter into the atmosphere. Then wherever people are using, everywhere the same thing is coming in. For example, now we are using the vehicle, two-wheeler, four-wheelers. Now, when I was mentioning about the cement industry and the thermal power plant, they are processing of some of the solid particles when it is grinding and mixing, and when they're transporting from one part of the process to another process, and they are feeding, unfeeding, everywhere the solid particles is being handled, so the dust particles are coming out. That is okay, fine. Now, if people are using two-wheeler and four-wheeler, there you are using liquid fuels only, isn't it? How these particulate matters are forming? Any one of you can answer to me? So cement industry and thermal power plant, you would have understood very clearly what could be the reason for emission of lot of particulate matter, because those are all solid particles, and the main process of manufacturing of cement and using of the coal in thermal power plant is grinding or pulverization, followed by other processes. So there must be emission of those particles. Even if you do any sort of control technique also, that will be evolved, doesn't matter. Even when we are taking this chapati pin mix, we are taking very less quantity also, some of the particles are flowing out that we cannot control. If you want to control also, you cannot do it. You can switch off the fan, you can close the window also. If you are standing in front of, when you inhale and exhale, there must be few particles will be flying that you cannot control at all. Otherwise, we need to, for taking that chapati mix, you have to spend time like anything to reduce that falling. Then we cannot meet our regular lifestyle. Okay, so that is okay. You can agree and accept it. By why the same thing is coming out, particulate matter is coming out from the vehicles, all sort of vehicles. Are you using the solid fuels? You are using only liquid fuel or gaseous fuel, we know them. So what could be the reason for formation of particulate matter from the vehicles? Vehicular pollution also one of the important contributor in urban area. And with in urban area, lot of particulate matter, SPM, PM10, PM2.5 are there. The usage of AC also more in city only or urban only. And to control or to protect from that only, they have introduced some of the filters in AC also, I said. So what could be the reason for that particulate matter from the vehicular emissions? Any one of you, please?
Burning the fuel and produce the carbon particles, madam. So,
That means you are meant to say that when you are using that oil, the carbon particles are coming out, you are telling. When you are using the
ma'am.
petrol. Unburned form you are telling, or burnt form? Then I have
Bond cell.
burned form. No,
Yes.
no. So what is meant by particulate matter? What is the definition of particulate matter? Yeah, you come up, I will tell you, these are all useful for you. Particulate matter means it is a very fine solid or liquid droplets, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sizes are varying from 100 mm to 0.1 mm, I said. And the
Yes, ma'am.
physical and chemical characteristic of these particles are varied from source to source. And it could be inert also, and it could be very active also. Both are possible. Now, from the vehicle, how it comes out means, what fuel they are using? They are using either petrol or diesel, or nowadays they are replaced with natural gas. So when they are burning the natural gas, there must be some of them, but it is not that much, we can say that is very trace of particulate matter. We cannot completely escape. Anyhow, that is CH4 only. When you are burning completely, it could be burned out, nothing would be left over. That is possible. But some trouble is there in your burner inside the vehicle, in your fuel tank to burner section, and something will be left over means it will be escaped in the form of volatilized compound, because all hydrocarbons are highly volatile. Most of the hydrocarbons are volatile in nature. So why these particulate matters are forming from the vehicle is the particles are when they are injecting from the fuel tank to the engine part, there is a possibility to escape some of the particles. And when that process is very fast in all the vehicles, you just think that when you are just hit the bike or switch on the button in vehicle, within few seconds the fuel injection burning and that energy is being used in the engine, immediately the vehicle is started up. So what could be the rate of reaction? It is very difficult to find out, isn't it? The rate of reaction is very fast. So that time, along with the exhaust, some of the fuel droplets will come out. Based on the dew point, somewhere it will be lying like a liquid. Somewhere it is possible to make it as a very small, fine particles. Those are all unburned particles, most of them. Most of them are unburned particles. Those particles are called generally, if it is based on the size of the particle, it could be classified as soot particle. Somewhere it could be classified as a dust particle. And a little bigger than that means it is being classified in generally particulate matter. So that could be the reason. The dust is not only the responsible for this particulate matter, along with that, this soot also important. And we can say this fog also is there, smog also is there, many things are there, all are comes under that category. That's what I have explained. I spent a lot of time for that. Particulate matter, a section is there in your book. In that particulate matter, different types, how it is being classified based on the particle size, I have explained. Even aerosols also explained. Under aerosol only all this sulfur dioxide, all the gaseous pollutant will come. Okay. So when we wanted to introduce some of the control equipment in any places, various types of control equipments are available, and I told you. The selection of particular equipment which depends upon the many criteria that is based on the pollution character. That means particulate matter characteristics. What are they? Nature of the gas phase and particulate matter, whatever I told you, those parameters. Physical and chemical characteristics of particulates, particulate size and concentration, volume of particulate matter we wanted to be processed, temperature and humidity of gaseous media which is evolved from the source, and factors like toxicity and inflammability must be taken into the consideration, because which affects or influences on the efficiency of the operation of the system which is being selected for a collection of treatment of this particulate matter, and quality of the treated effluent, which is nothing but what is the efficiency of the equipment we have used for control the particulate matter. So these are all the factors to be considered before we are selecting the particular equipment. So what are the equipment or the methods are available for removing this particulate matter? One is gravitational settling. Here the people are using only the gravitational force to settle down the particulate matter. And centrifugal impaction. Centrifugal impaction, inertial impaction, direct impaction, all are same thing only. By applying different forces and makes the flow of the system something different, then based on the density difference, it is being settled down. Diffusion also similar concept. And the electrostatic precipitation, I told you, we have to apply the electric potential. Due to the charge differences, the particles are being collected and scrapped out. Okay. So these are all the possible or available methods for this this removing of particulate matter. The one important method is gravitational settling chamber. Ma'am, class is over. Time is up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, okay, ma'am. Then we'll start by 3:50.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank
Okay.
you, madam.
Okay. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.